Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. The WBC, bless them, in their finite wisdom have decided to not rank any Russian and Belarusian fighters in their rankings, because of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. Belarus is an ally of Russia. What they're saying is if you live in and train in and are based in Russia, you're not getting ranked. And also, of course, no WBC shows will be sanctioned in either of those countries. Now, there are exceptions to this, or there could be an exception to this. And that is that if you are a Russian fighter who lives in another country, so Bivol and Beterbiev live in the US and Canada respectively, I think, you can petition the WBC and possibly get an exemption. Okay. Well, that sounds very pretty, but the thing is that the WBC say you've also got to come out and publicly condemn Russian action. Here it gets a bit problematic, because I think most people, Russian or otherwise, would probably be opposed to a war, because no one wants to see bombs being thrown around and innocent people killed and entire cities destroyed and so on and so forth. But there are plenty of Russian people who are opposed to the war who say, hang on a minute, Russia has been poorly treated by the West, by NATO. The agreement was when the Berlin Wall came down, when the Soviet Union ended, Glasnost and all that stuff, NATO was not going to move its forces 1 inch closer to the Russian border. And it's done so over the last 30 years, more than an inch, believe me. So, yeah, they might say, well, politically, we've not been treated well. I don't agree with the war, but we've not been treated well. Supposing a fighter comes out and has that view, which is a perfectly debatable, reasonable view. It's a reasonable debate to have, put it that way. Would they continue to be sanctioned? How far is the WBC going in its desire for people to completely 100% adhere to what they themselves regard as morally correct? Because I'm not someone who says that morals are always fluid. Clearly they're not. But I do think there are nuances. Life is made up of nuances. Life is made up of shades of grey. It's not made up of black and white and the good guys on one side and the bad guys on the other. I mean, that can be. I mean, let's say the Nazis were the bad guys in the Second World War. Does that mean every German was a bad person? Of course not. This is infantile comic book stuff. So I think this is very, very problematic. If you're going to say this about individual people, individual athletes, and you're going to hold them to a standard where they have to actually actively come out and completely condemn everything based on what you as an organisation deem to be moral, then we're getting into the realms of McCarthyism here. We're getting into the realms of there are no nuances. There is no moral fluidity at all. This is a case of, are you or have you ever been a communist? Joseph McCarthy. Go and Google it if you're not aware of what I'm talking about. And there's no doubt that sanctions do work against nations, because I'm old enough to remember the South African apartheid, and it did work. Economically, they were battered, and that eventually apartheid had to end, not just from a moral point of view, but from a fiscal point of view. It just couldn't survive. So what do you think of this? I think this is the WBC being the WBC, really. I think there definitely is room to debate this subject, to debate sanctions against Russia and Belarus, but picking on individual athletes, I don't think that's right. I really don't, and I would definitely argue that you're on shaky ground when you do that. Okay, well, those are just my thoughts. Leave your comments below if you've got any. As always, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your subscription. If you're new to the channel, you could subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And like I say, leave your thoughts below. It's the WBC being the WBC, isn't it? Yeah. Nice fella, Suleiman. Anyway, have a good day. Take care of yourself. We'll speak again soon. Bye for now.